All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
And you were looking for an apocalyptic fiction book to read, just to consume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And couldn't.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of reading at that time, and there's one I wanted something very complex, like a very deep plot line, because a lot of apocalyptic novels, a lot of them, they're really good out there. They were missing. They would have like this event that would occur, and these are more reality-based apocalyptic fiction, not like zombie stuff like that. More like, oh, there's a grid down, there's a nuclear strike, and society kind of collapses or devolves, and how do you deal with it? And a lot of them were just dealing with, like, say, a family somewhere. How are they struggling to survive? And then I'm like, what's going on in the halls of government? What's happening with the military? Like, what's all these other moving parts? I want to know. I want to see more of a broader worldview of what's happening in that space. And I couldn't find it. And so I was like, well, I'll write it. And so the plot was the first novel, which then led to a series and now a whole spin-off of other books, just is very complex. So you have one family, you're seeing how kind of a normal suburban family's dealing with it. Then you're seeing how the military is dealing with it, because there's a connection between that protagonist, his brother's in the military. And then you're seeing what's happening in the halls of government. And there's all these moving parts around the world. So you're seeing all these characters and all these different POVs. And so you as a reader get this huge kind of world kind of view of everything that's happening. So you're not really left in the dark completely. And it just gives the series a lot more depth, I think. And I remember when Penguin picked it up, I was speaking with the editorial director and like, wow, this is a really complicated plot. I was like, is that a compliment? Like, you're saying, my God, it's a pain in the ass. Like, what are you doing? But because there's just so many moving parts, and the more complicated invites you to have a lot of plot holes. So you have to be very structured in how you're writing it to make sure you're not. That's why developmental editors are really big, are important specifically for novels with that kind of depth.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how did you get to this point where you're able to write these complex, is it just the way your brain's wired? Like, how did
It must be. I see everything like a movie.
Yeah.
That's when people say, when I'm writing, I just write and I see it like it's a movie playing in my head. And I just write what I see and put it on the paper. I don't write from outlines. I have heavy notes.
Okay.
So I don't use outlines. I find outlines can be cumbersome if they're too structured, and really cumbersome for new writers. They become hijacked by the outline.
Yeah.
Because you think about when you're creating an outline, you're using, is it the left brain? It's like a left brain, right brain thing.
Yeah.
Like what is it? Is it the right brain that's creative side?
The creative side's the right brain. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So when you're writing any kind of writing, when you're really kind of in that flow state, your right brain is like lit up. But when you're doing an outline, it's more technical and you're being more analytical. So it's more left brain.
Yeah.
So you're thinking structure and this, that. And then, so when you get into a flow state, when you're writing, and then you can find yourself at a point where you want to deviate from the outline, because the story will start writing itself. The characters will start flowing and things start happening. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh, you're really into it. And now you're at this crossroad. Do I deviate from the outline, or do I follow where the characters are taking me?
Yeah.
And I always say, stick with that. That's the truth.
Yeah.
It's coming to you from somewhere. That's something good. That's a whole nother question about consciousness, right? And where that's tied into. Because you ever notice when you get into flow state, like, where's this information coming from?
Yeah.
It's like it's being dropped into your head.
Yeah.
And it's there somehow. Like, okay, I didn't think of that, but that sounds really cool. I'll put it on the page. And so I think it's important I think experienced writers can use outlines because they give themselves permission to deviate from it. But new authors can find themselves in a bad position, in a bind, and it can cause them to be paralyzed and stop their writing.
Wow. With the flow state, do you think that that's been amplified by the meditation practice that you've taken?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I mean,
Oh
if
yeah.
your mind is like full of chatter, it's hard to get into a flow state and have that creative thought coming to you. But when you can clear your mind and allow it to come in, kind
Oh,
of,
again, if anybody gets anything from this conversation is meditation. I highly encourage meditation. I
Mhm.
highly encourage like spending that time with yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and I like what you're saying, but I didn't even, I sort of added that. You were talking about guided meditations are great. I use a lot of guided
Mhm.
meditations. And
Mhm.
that's something too, is to find great guided meditations. And that's something you can just focus on that person's voice as they guide you through the experience.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, of course, I absolutely has. I do what I coin them micro meditations. Like when something happens, I just stop. I just get quiet. I sit in my office. My wife or the kids will walk by and it's like, oh, Dad's micro meditating. So like they make fun of me. They call me hippie hop.
Oh
Yes.
gosh.
Yeah.
My kid's like, Dad's a hippie now. He meditates. So it's like,
As, as long as it doesn't interfere with my flow state, just call me whatever. It's
Whatever.
great.
oh, I don't care. I think when people have nicknames for each other, it's
That's
endearing
great.
anyway.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think I don't. It never bothers me. It's like, oh, you really like me. You have a nickname.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely. And so what made you decide to now help other authors do the same
I've
thing?
I right from day one, like when after I'd written the end, once it really started taking off, I was watching the charts and watching, was like, oh my God, I'm like number one, or I'm number two, I'm bouncing around. And there was just one guy, Doug Richards, New York Times bestseller. I kept competing with him at the time. This is 2013. And I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I didn't. I stumbled in all this stuff. Like
Mhm.
I made mistakes. I'm just a guy though that like when I see something and I want to go for it, I do like this much due diligence. And then, I mean, I've
Jump.
gotten better at it, by the way. Now I have other
Okay.
people that do due diligence for me because I'm horrible at it. Like, hey, can you look into that for me? But
We're
then I
definitely a
didn't.
jump first and figure it out
Yeah.
after. Like
Yeah.
we build the parachute as we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As you're falling, as you're like free
Yeah.
falling,
We're
you're like,
just
oh,
like, let's
that's
go.
how
We
this
got this.
works. And because I just like, I don't know what I'm doing now. I wasn't had zero expectation the first book was going to take off, like zero. I was like, it makes enough money. I can take Tawny out to dinner once a month. That'd be great. That'd be amazing. Now it's like I quit my job because I made as much in 1 month that I made the whole year before. I was like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
my life's changed. Like I was at this, like my life's in this other direction. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going for it because the door of opportunity is wide open. And so I was reaching out. This is something I try to mirror people that are successful. They're like, just ask people, just ask. Ask someone who's doing better than you, give me advice.
Mhm.
So I was knocking on doors, knocking on doors. Most people wouldn't open, so to speak, like sending emails and Doug responded. And he happened to be in San Diego and like 10 minutes from me. It was like this strange coincidence. And he was like, absolutely, let me take you out to lunch. I'm like, all right, sounds great. So we went for lunch and he just like opened up his like, this is my experience. You should do this. You shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. If you get a big deal from a publisher, let me know. I can help you with that. I got a great entertainment attorney. Like, wonderful. He was invaluable. And I came away from that lunch thinking, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to help people because it's nothing like giving back. It's like there's something really, it's about providing value to people. I've come to understand now too that success and money is downstream of providing value for
Yeah.
people, taking care of people.
Yeah.
If that is an intention that you lead with, everything else is down. Success, money, all that is downstream. It will come because that's where the energy has to flow.
Yeah.
It just flows through that.
Love it. That's awesome.
What has that shift been like for you in helping others? I'm a big fan and advocate of pouring into other people as well and stepping kind of into that unofficial or sometimes official mentorship role, paid or not paid. But you're no longer in that creative state of mind, right? You're now looking at helping individuals build a business, structure a book, whatever it is for them, how they set their goals. How has that shift been for you just in terms of how you show up every day and how you're operating in your own business?
I find it rewarding. I was just having a conversation with my oldest daughter, 17, about the difference between happiness and fulfillment.
Mm.
Mm.
And there's something very fulfilling, right, about helping people, and specifically showing them, giving them the toolbox, right? So that they have to still do it, right? They still have, you can coach them. They eventually, the people have to do it themselves. But giving them that shortcut. It's like what do they call that? And there's like, I can't think of the term, but it's like when you're playing a game, you can cheat, like give cheat codes,
Yes.
It's like giving them cheat codes, right? Like I had to go through all this and I stumbled, but here's some cheat codes to have you go from here to here much quicker. And it's very fulfilling. I just want to see people thrive. I don't think there's no competition at all in writing. There's no competition. You can have friendly competition, maybe, amongst friends that I know, and we're all we give each other grief and, whatever. But there's no real competition, because when you look at anything from as podcasting or books or movies or consumables, you're consuming it. And it's about creating relationship too. So I find these people, I want to help them. And then they're just going to add more. Everyone's got a story to tell too. They're just adding whatever beautiful content to the world. And I'm just a big supporter of it. I'm a big supporter of helping. I've been helped. I want to help people.
Yeah.
And then I create hopefully really wonderful relationships from that.
Yeah. Awesome.
I think that, thank you for differentiating happiness and fulfillment.
Yes.
And what a great lesson for a 17-year-old.
Oh, and she actually got a lot out of it. It was a really, she came, I hope I'm not giving away too much information here. She just had prom. And anyway, so there was just like this, I think some friend thing happening. And she was just, and so she just wasn't happy. She was talking about happiness. And it was like, I just want to say, I was like, you realize, like, I'm not always happy. Like, happiness can be fleeting. Happiness is like a roller coaster, And I said, but what is always consistent for me is like being your father. Like I'm fulfilled. Like there's something that's very fulfilling by being that. Like not, and it will always be there. And that's because I'm doing something and have dreams for somebody. It's not me. It's beyond me.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, I get it. I'm like, yeah. I said, I said, look to help other people. And you'll find a lot of fulfillment and serve other people. It's like service. I know Christianity leads into the concept of service a lot. And I think that it's powerful when you start doing things for other people with that intention, not intentionally, not for you. It's the intention of helping them. And there's something, I don't know, we were built for that. I think human beings were built for helping. I really do. Sometimes you look in the world, you don't believe that's the case, but there's something really rewarding about it. And you guys understand that too.
Yeah.
Yes. I have the same belief. I think that that's what we were wired for.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you talk about happiness being like, that's a fleeting emotion, I think you're spot on, because we can have happiness and not have that drive or that desire to keep going and moving forward. But when you have that sense of fulfillment, it ties into your higher purpose, right? It's like the bigger thing. This is your why. It's, now that I have the sense of fulfillment, I may not be having a great day, but I'm still going to keep doing the things because I know it's going to make a difference in other people's lives, right? It's the ripple effect that continues to happen.
It gets you out of bed in the morning. It's
Absolutely.
a purpose. It's a purpose-driven life. It's very powerful to have that.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it. It's the motivator that really can drive things. Yeah, because I was always like, for me, even being a parent is not always happy. Ask a parent when they're changing the diaper, right? Ask a parent when they're doing something, and the kid gets their first ticket. Not very happy.
Not happy.
Not happy at all. But are we fulfilled? Absolutely. Like it's very powerful. And Bobby, you don't have to be a parent. You can have the experience with a lot of other things, helping people. Fulfillment and happiness, two different things. I always strive lean into fulfillment than leaning into happiness.
Yeah. And I love that, because most people think they're chasing happiness and it's just this fleeting thing. But if you really can figure out what your purpose is, your rocket fuel, then like you said, it'll get you out of bed every single day.
Well, like you're mentioning, it's like happiness, when you're chasing it, it's like someone's like, it can be like a dopamine thing.
Yeah.
It could become like addicted to like a drug. Will they have to keep chasing? What's the term for like drug addicts? Like chasing the dragon, I think is the term. And that's what you end up doing. You start to think, oh, I got to do this. And that might lead them to maybe doing drugs or alcohol or getting into sex or whatever that is. It can lead them to these 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 moments where they're these little slight dopamine hits, which really, and then they have to get more and more. It's like a drug. They need more in order to satisfy them, because now it's not as satisfying as it was the time before, and the time before that, and the time before that. But fulfillment, that's it's like, wow, like the bucket's always full. It's like, how is that? What?
Yes.
And all I have to do is not look at myself. I just go look at someone else and help them.
Yes.
Yeah. It's such a different feeling
Mm-hmm.
when you experience it. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
So what's next? What's on the horizon?
I'm just still, well, I've got another company I'm really leaned into AI, and it's, creatively, there's a lot of creatives like, oh my God, like I might as well. I, I think creatives are going to be left behind unless they figure out how to leverage artificial intelligence and use it for what it is. It's a tool. You can make your life more efficient. You can expand your horizons. But now is not the time to be kind of a Luddite and like shun away from it, even if you're creative in writing and things like that. So I'm leaning. I've got another publishing company that exists out there. It's more of like content stuff we create. I started that in, what was that, 2022? That's doing very well. And then I'm just created a joint venture. I had a company I started. Now I'm at the point that I need to automate it using AI. And now I've got a meeting with a couple of fellas that are out of the South. We're doing a joint venture. It's going to be leaning into using artificial intelligence and AI agents to automate translations.
Yeah.
The power of artificial intelligence in translating video content and written word is incredible. And so we're going to be doing that really quickly. But then my own personal books, I'd love to see an adaptation movie. That would be like the ultimate dream come true.
Okay.
Yeah. Love that.
So you're not stopping, not even slowing down.
Oh, I never plan on retiring ever.
Yeah.
No, I love what I do. There's no reason to retire.
I think that's the
I
other
told my
reason.
wife, she'll find me I'll be like dead here in front of the computer or something, writing my 140th novel.
Well, I think that's the difference when you are a purpose-driven life, like you said. It's not like, it doesn't feel like work. And I don't, until you find that, you just don't really understand it. And there's so many people that just grind. Oh, I retire in 5 years. I can't wait. But if you're in a purpose-driven life, man, you'll work till you're sitting at your computer and then you're done.
Yeah, my mentors like always ask me, "Are you having fun?" It's always the first question. Are you having fun? Like, I'm still having fun. Good. That's good. And this guy's like great, like crazy successful. He's a billionaire. And I'm fortunate to have him as a mentor, and I meet with him like 3 times a year, have lunch, and that's first question was that, "Are you still having fun?" Like, yeah, it's good. Good. That's the most important. The time when you stop having fun, it's time to start looking somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's funny. It was funny. I always said when I first met with him, I always thought I never imagined that would be the question he would ask me if am I having fun? I always imagined to be more of this kind of like business driven metrics. Just look at this and it's like, are you having fun? Let's talk about that. How you feel? I'm like, how feelings come into like looking at business? And then I'm like, really? Come on. But yeah, are you still having fun? Yep. Still having fun.
I love it. I love it. So meditation, find amazing people to mirror that are doing what you want to do and have that purpose, a really driven purpose in your life.
Yeah. And Billy, I think it's important too. I know you guys do coaching, finding a coach.
Yeah.
Finding a mentor, talking things through with people. Mentors, I think they should be somebody you're striving to be. That's when I reset the Doug. He was somebody who was and what I was doing was higher. So I was trying to get to his level, and finding that mentor that can take you to that next level. Because sometimes you can outgrow your mentors and you reach their level. Now they're your peer.
Yeah.
So I think, but coaches are really important, play a very, very critical role to have someone to talk through things with.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, I'd love for you to share with our listeners just how many mentors you currently have or that you've had over the years, and maybe one or two of those big ahas or life lessons that you've applied that you've taken from your mentor. Like you mentioned, you have the one mentor you meet 3 times a year. That's probably like the most intense meeting, I would imagine, in a positive way, not a negative intense, but like just one where you're both showing up and grateful for each other and really showing up whole, like transparent transparent and as you are. But tell us about your mentorship experience. Who's mentored you? What are some of those bigger life lessons that you've taken away? And I think even bigger than that, how do you identify your mentor? I think that would help our listeners tremendously.
Yeah. So again, I think I mentioned briefly, like a mentor is somebody that has, if you could have a metric and look at, say in business, they're clearly very successful in business. They are doing X number. They've scaled a company and they have all this and you don't. So that like they have information, they know how to make decisions at that level. They know how to scale things. Like you find people like it's about getting, there's somewhere you want to be and they can take you that. And by the way, mentors can be in different spaces, like, and coaching can be in different spaces. So people need like coaches, like life coaches, right? How to make the right life decisions and relationships. And so it's across the spectrum of things. So business, like I've mainly leaned into business like mentors. And those have been people like Ernie has been somebody I've leaned into. He's been there, done that. He's worth a lot of money, and it's because he's earned it. And he didn't come from something, and he's built his entire life's been built into. So I was like, I'm just fascinated by that journey of somebody who doesn't come from that. Somebody who's like, I think he was like working in like I think it was called a fish hatchery or something when he was a kid, like not having much to being worth, billions of dollars today. It's like, it's an impressive journey. It's like, how did you get here? What does that entail? So when I sit down with him, I'm asking him lots of questions because I'm just fascinated by that journey, because along that journey, there's all these decisions that have to be made.
Yeah.
Right. Like, how did you make that? Why did you do that? Why did you get into that? Why did you not do that? And I'm very curious. I think that's important to me too. Someone has said that is, a coach told me one time, it's like, you're very curious. And like, yeah, I am. And I go, I think that's something that's valuable, is I'm curious about, about life and people, the decisions that they make. So I asked myself the questions, and I always like asking, boy, I think it makes me good for like conversations. Like I know I'm doing all the talking in this one, but actually like if we were socially hanging out, I'd be asking you guys a lot of questions.
Yes.
Like really getting into like, what's going on with you, Pam? What makes you tick?
Yeah.
I'd be asking a lot of questions. Same with you, Natalie. I'd be asking a lot of questions because I find people interesting. I look at the world and there's so many different jobs and ways to make money, and I find that fascinating. So I always want to know, like, what do you do? Like, how did you get into that? Like, how did you come up with that? So anyway, but like, so coach, like my other coaches, I right now just have Ernie, and then the other coaches are just people that are adjacent to me. There's a guy named Nicky. He's up in Canada, and he helps me with a myriad of things. But he's more of my peer. But yeah, he's got some really, and it's the reason I'm actually on this podcast, because I wasn't doing any podcasts for the longest time. I kind of checked out. And he was like, you need to go on Podmatch and you need to do this. And then I'm like, I don't even know how to do any of that. I don't even have social media anymore. Really, I deleted all that. And I was like, okay, I'll put myself out there, because I think I really want to start driving a message home. I'd love to help people. If people can be inspired by what I've accomplished, or if I can give somebody something that can help them, I'd love to do so. And so I talked to him. I always ask him, I probably talk to him several times a month and just bounce ideas off of him, and he's a coach. But yeah, I think it's important because you get this fresh eyes and different perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that.
Yeah.
And if any of our listeners are interested in working with you, Jeff, how do they go about doing so?
Or
yeah,
working with me. Oh yeah. So like I am helping. I do help people. Like lots of information is like, here, have it. Like the other day, some guy called me, he needed a friend had a guy who wanted my help. And then the more I was talking to him, I was like, you really need some help. And like, I can help you, but now it's going to enter the phase of like, let's make this a business relationship, because then you're going to get all of me. And he was like, okay, I'm in, because there's value. By the way, that's something too. It's like, it's so easy to want to always give stuff away, but there's at the point where you also have to value yourself and like, okay, I need to charge for this. And then you're going to get like whatever you structure your schedule, like you can get all of it. And I think that's important too. You got to value you. You have to know how much your time is worth. And so that turned into like he saw the value and jumped on it. And so we booked out something. So I'm just going to work as like a developmental editor. and kind of coach him through the process of finalizing his book and then getting it to market. But yeah, I'm here. Like, people can find me at my website, gmichaelhopp.com. They can email me at jeff@gmichaelhopp.com. I answer all my emails. If you've got, a story, you want to know how to kind of go from idea and get it published, I can help you with that. I've done my own books, and then looking on the board, 466 books total that my publishing companies have done and put out. So I know how to produce a book. That's for sure.
You do.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah. Love it.
Well, we will make sure that we put all of your contact information in the show notes as well, so that our listeners can connect with you. Yes, it's that ripple in the pond is just continuing to flow out. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Any final thoughts that you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, I always say this to, if anyone's listening that's like a new author or aspiring author, and that is, Ernest Hemingway was being interviewed years ago, and he was asked that question: what's the best advice you'd give an aspiring author? And that is just write.
That's right.
Just sit down and write. Too many people put artificial goalposts or artificial obstacles in their way. Oh, I need to go creative writing school before I can do that. Or I need to do this. I need to do that. And they're thinking about all these things, and they're really what they're doing. They have such doubt, I believe, that they have to put these obstacles in their way, so they never actually have to step down and just write, because it's really just simple. Just sit down and just start writing whatever that is. Well, what if I need to an editor? Well, you don't need an editor yet because you don't have a book.
Right.
What about my cover? We don't need that. What about distribution? Don't need that yet.
The title.
Yeah, all of it. They put these things in their way so they don't have to just write. Trust me, just lean it. It's kind of uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And I'll finish with this. Be very comfortable being uncomfortable. And once you get to that space, you can conquer a lot of things.
Yeah. That's good advice for anything in our life.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you're going to encounter a lot of uncomfortable stuff in life.
That's where the growth happens.
Yep. Oh, that's where the sweet spot is, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So meditate so you can get into that flow state and just start writing.
Just right.
Just start writing.
That's
Just right.
That's it.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time out to visit with Pam and I. This has been an absolute pleasure. We have a couple of books in the works, so this has been helpful for us. As we're, you broke it down very simply, just right, which is probably the one thing that I avoid the most. So
books don't write themselves.
Yes. But we appreciate you so much. And we will absolutely put all of your contact information in the show notes, so that our listeners can get a hold of you, learn more about you, and the books that you've written and those that you have helped in publishing. So thank you for continuing to support just the work of other authors out there. And for our listeners, if you're interested in learning about more and what's happening in the world of Reignite Resilience, head on over to reigniteresilience.com. Until next time, we will see you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.